This video will be episode 32, starting on day 226 of the Black Lion Origins campaign. Last episode, we retook the Castle of Garantor, and being Clan Tier 4 and having more than 100 troops at our disposal, and having our own fief, we were then able to start our own kingdom. And so we have left Butch in the neighborhood of Garantor in order so that he can recruit troops from our fiefs, and we are now going to venture back into the Battanian territory and force the notables of their villages to give us troops to fill our army. The goal is to force enough of these notables to give us troops that we can form a sizable enough army that we can hopefully carve out a kingdom for ourselves from the Battanian fiefs. I fight these battles in Battanian villages on foot. A lot of these battles that are so close and cramped and forested, they really kind of demand to be fought on foot, and that's okay because it's a benefit for us because we need athletic skill still. We are into the 300s of our athletic skill levels, but once we reach the maximum skill level of 330, then we'll be able to respec our blacksmithing perks and get an extra focus point in one-handed skill and two-handed skill, and then we'll be able to level those up to 225 with 10 attribute points and 3 focus points spent in a skill. You can then level that skill up to 250, which is awesome because that gets us all of the captain perks for both of those weapon types, but also it gets us some very much needed personal perks. So in the two-handed skill tree at level 225, there's a perk that makes it so your weapon, all of your weapons, have a 25% armor penetration buff, which is huge. And then in the one-handed skill tree, there's a perk at 250, which gets you, I'm not sure how much it is. I think it's like 15% armor penetration for melee weapon attacks. So that'd get me an extra 40% armor penetration with my polearm, which would be huge. A lot of times you see I'll be riding behind an enemy cavalry, and because we're moving at the same pace, I'm maybe barely outpacing him, I'll poke him in the back and he doesn't go down. He doesn't die. And that isn't the case, generally speaking, for, like, say, the Black Lion, where he's level 59 and he has those perks already. So we're looking forward to leveling those weapon skill types and reaping the benefits of those perks. And there are like some really fantastic party leader and captain perks to be had in those skill trees too. Besides, like, there's a lot of extra health for your troops to be had, and other things as well. So it's absolutely worth doing, and that's why we're pushing towards it. And fighting these villages is the perfect opportunity for it. Like, you get skill EXP and character level EXP comparable to the level of the enemies that you're killing. So it is a benefit to be killing higher tier enemies, but these militia do just fine. We're able to, they don't run from us, and so we're able to catch several of them in a day. So we make good time and good progress, and at the same time, as I said before, we're building our army. I always dump this shield. Like, there are times that it's worthwhile to keep the shield on hand, because like, especially if you're anticipating fighting against a bunch of archers, you may want to keep your shield in order to close the distance with them. But that shield is, I think, the heaviest shield in the game. Like, it's 8 weight or something like that, and I find that it, like, having any shield on your character will affect your movement speed, but I feel that shield significantly affects my movement speed, and my melee fighting style, which, I mean, that makes it sound as if I'm the only one that's ever thought of doing this. Certainly not. But my chosen fighting style has it demands that I be mobile. Not only so that I can close the distance on these enemies and be as effective as possible, but also so that I can stay ahead of my enemies too. A lot of these guys that have shields, as you can see, I try to avoid them and maneuver them so that they are showing their flank to my archers, whilst pursuing enemies that don't have a shield, that I won't have to beat through in order to score a kill on them, you know. So we've filled up my warband, and so we're now going to form a clan party. We're going to have one of our companions lead a warband, so that we can then call him into our an army. That way, if I call him into the army, then I can keep a tight rein on what he does. Like I have a say in whether or not he loses a battle and loses me all the troops that I hand him, you know? So I had initially, I was just trying to give him troops that he wouldn't mess up when they made levels, and I wanted to avoid giving him the archers as much as possible, because I feel like they score a lot of the kills. So I wanted to give him troops that had they weren't going to branch off into a troop type that I wasn't interested in having. But initially, you have to give them at least half of their warband capacity in troops in order to call them into an army. Once they're in your army, you can then talk to them and take all of their troops out again if you want to, but in this case, I need him having troops because I'm at my own capacity. Whoops. Thank goodness these guys came and rescued me. I got stuck on that wagon frame or plow. I guess it's a plow. And I was going to be stuck there the whole battle if they hadn't come along and given me something to swing at. So when I was fighting the Blandian militia, there was always the promise, the idea that I could maybe get a heavy heater shield from the militia. It's a rare drop, but it is a drop that you can get. And so I had a pet wish that I might get one, and it didn't happen. We never managed to pick that up from the Blandian militia so far. But there is also a pet wish when we were fighting these Battanian militia, because it is a rare drop that you can get a sledgehammer off of Battanian militia, and I use a legendary sledgehammer on the Black Lion for my civilian kit, running through towns and fighting the gang alleys. So that is a thing that we could hope to get, which would be good. It'd give me an opportunity. The reason why I like to use the sledgehammer in those civilian engagements, not only because the Black Lion has 330 two-handed skill, but the sledgehammer is pretty well. I mean, you can use two-handed swords in civilian engagements, but you can't use a two-handed axe. And I really like two-handed axes because you have the opportunity to do like, I don't know, I guess you call it splash or cleave damage, where you can cleave through one enemy and then kill or injure the next. And but you can't have a two-handed axe in your civilian kit, but you can have a two-handed sledgehammer. And so that is certainly a big deal. While the two-handed hammer is more rare to cleave through and actually kill the second opponent, you will often knock that second opponent down, and so you hit them with CC, as you would say in the MMO community, and it's crowd control. You can stun them and make them effectively ineffective for a duration of time. And if there is only the two that you're dealing with, you can actually then turn on him as he's trying to get up and hit him with an overhand attack and kill him before he gets a chance to do any more damage to you. So yeah, two-handed sledgehammers are awesome. If you haven't tried them in your civilian kit, I highly recommend it. So we're having to cave and give him some of the archers, but I am the reason why I want to give him less of the archers is because I don't want his warband getting all of the kills. I want my warband getting all of the kills, because then I get the loot. I want to get the loot so that I have an opportunity to maybe keep something awesome that drops. It's pretty rare that anything awesome drops, but you like to have the opportunity. These cramped Battanian villages, I bemoan them often enough, but it is kind of nice to have all of these trees and buildings to hide behind when approaching these archer types. So when you're giving that command order to attack whilst in the middle of a melee fight yourself, you're going to always want to turn around and start moving in the opposite direction of your combatants, your enemy combatants, because it will slow you down to make that order. or certainly it like quasi CCs you in order to be giving commands like that. So just make sure to turn away and start moving in the opposite direction so that you can hopefully avoid taking damage while you're doing that. We're coming right along with building our army here. The Hyena's warband is nearly full. I think this village ought to do it. With Butch recruiting from our imperial villages near our castle of Garantor, and the Hyena having his warband nearly full, we'll only have one more party to fill up before we'll be at max capacity for our army, and then we'll be in a good position, the best position we have yet been in, to try and win some fiefs that we actually want to hold. We took Garantor for the sole purpose of forming our kingdom, knowing full well that we would not be looking to defend it. So we can look forward to soon being able to make another attempt at Abcomer Castle, which I have coveted for a long time. Anyway, this has been episode 32 of the Black Lion Origins campaign, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.